Hello everyone, welcome to my Firefist Guide episode 1. This is my Firefist FTK deck profile for Master Duel because it's a bit stronger in there. We got triple tanky, which is nice, and we got second cult pedigree, which is honestly probably more important, although it's balanced by the fact that we only have 2 gammas, so probably not. Anyways, why I wanted to do this because basically I've never really shown anything, any of the bajillion Firefist combo setups I've created on the Firefist Discord outside of it, besides the Firefist Facebook page. So I wanna create a YouTube series where I'm gonna show all the setups, all the important setups, and we kind of have to start with the deck profile. So without further ado, I'm gonna start with the 2 best starters in the deck, which are Fractal and Tanky. Your usual start is like Tanky search Fractal, and Fractal sends Kit, and Kit sends Nerval, and Nerval adds Karas. Where is he? Yeah, there he is. So basically, about the riches, well, 3 Fractal and 3 Tanky are self-explanatory. 2 Nerval is also quite self-explanatory. You don't want to draw the one. If you only play one, you're kinda screwed. And we only play 1 Karas because it's an FTK deck. We are not playing on a grind game, although I have considered running more because it does let you extend a bit better. However, it's not a starter. So like Nerval is a very bad starter because you need the Nerval and the 3 tri-types, which is not likely. But it's a starter, and you need to, obviously. And Kit is really important because well, it's not a very good starter because you need to tri-types to use it as a starter. It's really good to extend over other starters like Fractal and Tanky, and we aren't playing it yet, but if you were to play Sunmo, that is also a thing. We are also playing 1 copy of Foolish Burial because it's basically a 7th copy of Fractal, and you actually don't even need the second tri-type like you need if you were to normal summon Kit. I have very recently discovered a combo that only requires 1 Discord, but you do need to go into Bear Brawl, which is something you usually want to avoid doing it if you can. You can't always avoid that. So, next up we got triple Rescue Cat, which is the next deck starter after Fractal and Tanky. It is the least important UR of the deck because you can play triple Sunmo and 1 Zushkong instead, and it's probably the 4th best starter besides Kit, which kind of doesn't count because he's like a Jolly, because he's bad as a solo starter, but he's great as a co-starter. So yeah, Rescue Cat, his combos are a little bit different, his setups, but you can learn them, it's fine. Next, we're going to get to the Farfist part, because it is a Farfist deck. We are running Triple Dragon because it's the card you're going to summon all 3 copies of during pretty much all of your combos. We are not running the Sunmo, so it's a little bit harder to recover if you draw 2 copies, but you can always recover usually, depending on your starter and if you can go into Ferret, what the Ferret draw is, if it doesn't fuck you over. It's it's often fine. If you draw 1 copy of Dragon, it's usually fine also. 90% of the time. But yeah, you would rather not draw it, but it's usually fine. That's pretty much the basic rule of all the garnets the deck plays. Next we got 1 bear and 1 buffalo. Those are the other 2 level 4 Firefists you need for the combo. You will see later. 2 copies of Rooster because he's a Garnet and kinda like Nerval. you don't want to worry about drawing it. And unlike with bear and to a lesser extent buffalo, you can't really recover it if you do. And more importantly, you use him earlier in the combo, so you don't always have Ferret available, which you do with those guys. And to round up the Fire Fist breaches, we got one copy of Coach Soldier Wolf Bark. You basically summon him off Tiger King with Bear if you don't have Bear in circulation already. So he's a Garnet, yeah, but you don't always need it if you do draw him anyways. So that's something to consider if you draw him. And next we got the Ferret package for the FTK. We got one Rescue Ferret that's gonna summon out one Red Resonator and one Flame Spirit Ignis. Ignis isn't really a Garnet because it forces you to go into Bear Bomb, which I guess is a Garnet, but yeah, you're fine usually. And Red Resonator, unless your opening is a Kit or a Nerval, it's fine if you draw it because you're gonna, instead of normal summoning Rescue Ferret or normal summoning Rescue Cat, you're gonna normal summon Red Resonator into Ferret or Cat. And if you do open Kit or Nerval, your setup already goes into Ferret, so unless you have another thing you wanna send back, you're fine. Unlike in other in non-FTK, he's not a starter, he's just a Garnet, unfortunately. And then we got your crossout package. We got one Nibiru, one Maxi, one Ash Blossom that I was considering running more of, like bumping the list to 43 and playing 3 Ash to stop Maxi. You could do that. I might change that later. I don't know. And to round up the monster, we got a Gamma package to stop hand traps to Gamma Someone Driver. It's synergizes with Fractal, with Burial, Tanky, Cat, basically all your starters besides Kit. Going on to the spells, we already mentioned Burial and Tanky. We got the one Tensu that is not. Most builds will say, why aren't you running 3? Well, the thing is, this build doesn't need to see a formation to play, which is the really cool thing about this build over pure builds. It's a really big consistency boost, honestly. Basically, its job is to let you normal summon Dragon. That's it. That's the only thing it does. Then we get Dome. You're gonna send it often in setups for Buffalo, but you can use him with the FTK with Bear or Dragon to extend it for you. Not that you really need to, but yeah, you can do that. And then we got the Cold Buys, 3 crossouts. You really always want to see them, and 1 Infinite Impermanence for the crossout, obviously. Then going on to the extra deck, we got the 1 copy of Eagle, obviously. It's a Fire Fist Hyper Combo deck. It's to let you pay to not pay Tiger King's floating effect is extremely important because if you didn't know Tiger King has a floating effect, if you came back from 2014, you probably didn't know that, honestly, because that never came up. But it's not once per turn. You can summon 2 guys from the deck, not once per turn. That is pretty insane, and that's the only reason why the deck is playable, basically, or relevant in any way. Non-FTK only needs 1 Tiger King. I might explain that in another video, but basically with this deck you need the 2 Tiger Kings and the 1 Diamond Wolf, because you often go like you summon the first one with with Dragon, and Dragon summons Buffalo. You overlay them into Tiger King. You link Tiger King and Rooster off into some Link 2, and then you use Buffalo's effect to ditch the Dome you just got with Tiger King and another formation to summon it back. Domi summons back Dragon. Dragon summons Tiger King. Then you overlay the Dragon and Buffalo into the Underwolf. The Underwolf pops the Tiger King, and the Tiger King summons Wolf, Bark, and Bear. And Wolf Bark summons back something else, and Bear pops the Wolf Bark, you overlay into the second Tiger King, then you pop the second Tiger King with Bear, and then you can go, because you kinda need the Bear to FTK unless some further developments happen. I have made a replay where I FTK with 2 Diamond Wolves and 1 Tiger King and no Bears, which is interesting. We'll see. Maybe I will have to make an update of this deck without these games. Will be really cool, actually. Then we got the 1 Horse Prince. You summon name of the Red Resonator and the Ignis you summon of the Ferret. Then moving on to the Tri Brigade links, we got 1 Shurite, obviously. Obviously, his main effect is the search effect, his floating effect. He searches Ferret. And basically, the win con of this deck is if you can get to search to linking off Shurag and getting 2 arrows for Ferret, you have won, unless they need you, basically. Then we got 1 Ferret, which is decently important, and Bearbrum also. You don't use these in all your setups, but they definitely come up a lot, especially with they come up with Rescue Cat and with Kit a lot. Well, a lot. You need them. Well, you need the Ferret. You don't actually need the Bearbrum. You can use something else, but I generally use the Bearbrum. Then we got the Rugal, whose main job is you can go into Appaloosa from it. Besides that, is mainly outclassed by Farfetindal, the Romadol, which is kind of the sleeper hit of the deck, because he gives you the 2 arrows with his, and is fire, and is a Beast Warrior, so you can use him to link him off and Horse Prince into Eagle. So you keep the Rooster on the field, and you can use this effect now that there's Eagle on the board, instead of having a formation on the board to get the formation, which is why the deck doesn't need that to open formations. Like if you open Fractal or Cat, you are not gonna be using Tanky. I am not joking. You don't need to use Tanky at all. Unless you're the rest of you, and is really bad and you need to do some funky plays. Then we got Almirage. You use Almirage for Kit and Noble mono starts. That's all. And you use Cross Ship for Gamma, or another link to go into if you don't want to use the role model. That's all. Then we got Appaloosa. This build doesn't actually make him that often. The non-FTK builds makes him a lot more often, because you don't need to make the role model, basically. So you could consider cutting it, but I am still going into it every once in a while. Then we got Access Code for when you go second, and then you got Lugaris. Lugaris summons Ignis back, and the fact that this is a fire is so fucking great, honestly. Like, I'm sure the deck would work with Lugaris not a fire, but it would be a lot weaker. The only real flex spot in the extra deck is Access Code, and arguably Appaloosa. I would have said Rugal, but you do need it for the new Foolish Burial setup. So yeah, this is the deck. Stay tuned for the combo setups.